Hey everyone, welcome to Monday's live stream. I'm really excited for this episode because it's going to be more of a different type of episode. So I hope you guys are prepared for it. It's going to be more of a faith based one. Now, we're not here to offend anybody. Whatever your beliefs are, whatever it is you want to believe, that's fine. Um, you know, this one's going to be based around love and are you patient enough with love from a biblical standpoint. So I want to get the likes up, as you guys know, and to get the YouTube channel to 1,000 subscribers. So you guys can help us do that. So let's get the likes up, let's get the views up, let's get the comments up. As I said, my objective goal for this live stream, literally, just to cut off the music, is to bring men and women together, not to keep us apart, but to bring us together. You guys have seen some of the stuff I've posted on Facebook with the sliders. I'm going to start giving you content like that. I'm also going to start taking some consultation calls. As I've also mentioned, we also have a clip channel, Love and Relationship Clips. So you can watch shorter versions of it if you like. And our goal is by summer to at least get to 1,000 subscribers. And we can only get there, or this channel can only get there with you guys, if you guys rock with the information that it is we're sharing. So let me play a little more music. We'll get into today's live stream. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a faith-based one, and we'll have fun with it. So we're going to get started. I also want to let you guys know that 7 p.m. will be our start time. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we'll always do it at 7 p.m. That seems to be the best time. Everyone's relaxed. Everyone's chill. Everyone can just kind of get into their mode. So let's jump into the live stream. Does being in love require patience? Yes, it does. And I have two things that I'm actually going to share with you guys right now that are going to talk about this. So first, we're going to show like the context, and then we're going to go over a video, and then we're going to break it down. Okay, so let me just do that. Okay, so as you can see here, the Greek phrase literally means do not seek things of itself, self-focused, which is the antithesis of love, marked the Corinthian church. So pretty much to break it down, which I wanted to do with you guys, and keep it very, very simple. And I'm going to move on to the other definition as well, because there's one that I really wanted to share with you guys before I shared today's video. Share screen. Here it is. So it's Corinthians 1, verse 13 to 5. So it's chapter 13, verse 5. For example, love is not self-seeking, verse 5. Also translated, love does not insist on its own way. So the Greek phrase literally means does not seek itself, self-focus, right? So a lot of times when people are looking for love or in a relationship, they're always like, well, what can I get? Right? It's always like self-seeking, and that's not love. If you're always looking at what you can get out of somebody, then that's not really love. Real love is you being able to give first, right? And through that, if they give to you, that's amazing. Great. If they don't, hey, you know what? You respect it and you keep it moving, right? Because love doesn't seek itself. And that's where a lot of people get that mistake, is they want to try to only love somebody for what they can get. And that is very selfish. So it's like, I will only love you if I can get X, Y, and Z. right? Instead of just being like, I will just love you, period. Right? Just like as I said, like God just loves us, period. There's no like X, Y, and Z. Now, obviously, again, there's a form of level of obedience and all these other things, but God is love, period. We all know this. So for those that don't believe, you have your own methodology, which is completely fine. We're not here to rag on that. So if love is not seeking itself or it's selfless, why are we so selfish? You see what I'm saying? Like, these are the questions that we have to start asking, right? If we have some sense of what love is, and love is a very selfless act, then how comes when it comes to relationships, we're more interested in what we can get instead of what we can give to get what we want to get? So I always say, especially if you're dealing in a romantic context, if you want certain things in a relationship, what are you willing to give? So like, I'm a man, right? And let's say I want like compassion, genuineness, femininity, cooperation, from a woman, gentleness, all those things. Am I creating an environment for her to be those things? You see what I'm saying? So it's like, if I'm looking for those things, what am I willing to give to get those things? And I have to create an environment for her to want to be that, right? Because naturally women will jump into that role if they feel safe with you. They will be feminine, they'll be cooperative, they'll be agreeable, they'll be all the things that you're looking for if you create the environment for her to do it in. You see what I'm saying? So I want to get into today's video and break it down, because I think what he talks about here is very important, and I think everybody should hear it. I know that when I heard it, it opened my eyes, because I said, you know what? I've been very selfish in love. I haven't been patient at all, right? And there's no room for selfishness when you love somebody. So let me mute my mic. See what he has to say. It's a very short video, but I want to at least try to break down like every talking point. So I'm going to play it, and then we're going to hear what he has to say.
To put in the comments section, definite scripture that somebody would use is that love serves, which is appropriate because love does serve. Love is gentle and love is unconditional, because can we really call it love if you only love me if I meet your conditions? Definition after definition, descriptor after descriptor, but there is one attribute of love that I think we often forget, and that is love is patient. 1 Corinthians 13 all day. Love is patient. So I think the question that we have to ask ourselves is, am I patient enough to love? Because it's going to be difficult for an impatient heart to be a loving heart. And I want to shine light on this, because I think many times we like the wrong type of light. The light of social media, the light of a platform. I want to shine light within. This is what I call enlightenment. I would like to give us some enlightenment on why I believe our gratitude is limited and why we lack the ability to love holistically. And that is because we're not patient. Like, patience reveals discovered value.
Wow, I love what he said there. You see, that's the thing. When you don't have a patient heart, right? Because a relationship, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, there's going to be all these things that are going to happen within your relationship. And you have to ask yourself, are you patient enough to endure? So I would say patience and enduring go hand in hand, because if you are not willing to endure, so that means when like chaos happens, you're not willing to drive through the storm and be patient with your partner. How are you ever expecting to ever act out of a place of love or even be loving? You see what I'm saying? Because you never will be. Every time you're always going to get frustrated and angry. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm perfect. I can be pretty impatient sometimes, right? Because sometimes I just don't have like the patience, but it's a skill like anything else. I have to learn to be patient. And I know that God's been calming my heart to be a lot more patient with people, right? Like, not everyone is on your level, not everyone has the same level of understanding that you do, or, or look at things the same way that you do. So you have to learn to be very patient with them. Right now, everyone has their limits depending on where you're at in life, but I personally, and I'm talking like me, Michael White, always try to have like genuineness. Is it perfect? No. Am I trying? Yes. So let's continue on what he has to say.
I will be patient when I understand the value of a thing. As crazy as this example is, right now on this Monday, somebody is possibly camped outside a store for Black Friday, and it is Monday. I mean, they have tents, they have blankets, they have food, they have rearranged their life. They are willing to embrace the inconvenience of cold. They are willing to embrace the inconvenience of rain. Why? Because there is something inside that store that they obviously value. And when we really love somebody, it is easier to be patient because patience reveals discovered value. I value your person. I value your conversation. I value your presence. I value your time. Please hear me. You will.
Okay, this part needs to be broken down. You see what he's saying here, though? When you value something, you're willing to be patient with it, right? So if you're not patient with this individual, how much do you really love them? How much do you really care for them? And I love the example that he said about waiting outside the store for Black Friday, and it was like Friday, like, like they were waiting. And it's so true, because if you see a level of inherent value there, you're willing to be patient. You're willing to endure whatever you have to get that thing. So it's like, why don't we have the same patience when it comes to love, or when it comes to dealing with a partner? They're going to make you angry. They're going to make you upset. And when you live in that reality of not like the Princess Disney fairy tale reality, and you live in a more truth-based, logical reality, that your partner will rub you the wrong way sometimes. And the thing is, can you love them through the storm? Can you endure what you need to endure to get to the love? And that's what it's going to come down to, right? Because if you're not willing to endure, I think you pretty much know an inherently truth that you don't really love that person that much or care about them that much, because as soon as it got hard, you quit. You weren't patient. As soon as it got difficult, you were like, nah, like, I don't want to deal with this. I've had enough. And I've been there, guys. Like, I'm not going to sit here. I've been there. I've lost some good girls because of lack of patience, because I was so impatient that I couldn't just like get out of my own head. I was so wrapped up in my own head that I couldn't take the time to say, whoa, stop. Let me be patient. Because a lot of times when you're impatient, it's ego. You're like, I want it now. I want this to happen like this. Like, you're trying to control a lot of the narratives. You're trying to be master of your own fate. But when you're dealing with another party, you can't control that. You can control what you do and how you behave, but you also need to understand that when you're dealing with someone else, it's about togetherness. So can you be patient together? That's why it's so important to have that, because without it, all it is it's like a house built on sand, and it's just going to crumble at some point. So I think he's making some amazing points, and let us continue.
Never have to beg a man to make time for what he values. Sisters, y'all are not off the hook. You will never have to beg a woman to spend time with what she values. One reason, not the only reason, because there are a plethora of reasons. Toxicity, dysfunction.
See, I want to break that down quickly. See, if you value it as what he said, then you don't have to beg and plead. Ooh, I wish I had like a buzzer noise for that. And it's so true, because if somebody sees you as value, your conversations, your presence, who you are, you won't have to beg them multiple times to spend time with you. They will want to talk to you. They will want to be engaged with you, right? Because it's like, as I said, choose a woman that chooses you. And if we were to flip it, it's the same thing for the women. Women, choose a man that chooses you. He won't make it difficult for you to be close to him. It's the same thing with a woman. If a woman really likes you, she won't make it difficult. If you ask her to hang out, it's where and when and what time. If let's say it's like a woman and you ask a man out, he's gonna say yes. He's gonna make the plans and say, meet me here. So this disillusion that we have of, I need to prove myself to them. No, they don't see, and I hate to say this, you as valuable. You're not valuable to them. They don't see it. So a lot of times they're just being nice out of the sake of being nice because they don't want to be rude, right? They'll reply to your messages. They'll give you empty promises of hanging out. It's because they don't want to hurt you. I've told you guys this. Women are indirect, right? Like, they're not direct as men. They'll leave you subtle hints that they're not that interested. You know what I mean? Like, they'll send you like a clapping emoji. They don't put much effort into their text messages. When you ask them to hang out, they're like, oh, I'd like that. But there's never like any set dates or times or level of availability. It's just like a hopeful wish. So, you know what I mean? At that point, I've always said, men, remove your attention. She's not that interested. You checking up on her, saying, hey, how you doing? What's going on? All these things, it's not going to help. And I've been there, guys. As I said, there's some women, it's been hard for me to let them go because there was such a level of investment. And I know it was toxic. It was such a level of investment. And I didn't know how to let it go because I looked at it as, I put so much time into this person. Why don't they care? It's because they didn't see me as valuable. They said it, but their actions showed something different. As he said, those people that were waiting for like Black Monday or Black Friday, their actions showed level of value there to that item, right? And as I said, if someone's not putting themselves out there for you, they're literally telling you, I don't value that. I don't value you that much. I just don't know how to tell you, because you never want to tell someone that you don't value them. But the signs are there. Their inherent signs are, as I've said, delayed text messages. You try to make plans. They don't want to make plans, or they tell you they will, but there's never any set dates. It's all there. So I think he's bringing up some amazing points.
I'll deal with that later. But one reason a lot of relationships fail is because there is no stick-to-itness, if you will. I'm not talking about to something unhealthy. There is no endurance. There is no patience. In fact, you know what frustration is? This is just a definition I would like to give you. Frustration is the roll call that lets you know that patience is absent. What I want, here. What I desire, here. My way, here. Patience. Patience. Balake. Where's Balake at? Patience. Patience is not here. Frustration is the roll call.
Wow, see? That is a gem in itself. Frustration. And I get frustrated sometimes too, like, because as a man, we pride ourselves on respect, and women pride themselves on being heard. So for me, it's like, if you're not listening to me, you're not respecting me. And then I get frustrated, and then I become impatient. And again, I think everybody has their own different levels and definitions. But a lot of times I know that that's been a hindrance for myself, because if I'm getting frustrated and I'm like, okay, like, I've had enough. But as he says, we always have to look at the root of something. Why are you frustrated? You're frustrated because you're not getting your way. And a patient person is never looking to get their way. A patient person is looking to understand. A patient person is looking to say, right now we're disagreeing with each other, but how can we get on the page of being patient and understanding? So let's keep it going. We're almost done, and then we will wrap it up with our final thoughts.
That lets us know patience is absent. And the distance between petition and manifestation is patience. The problem is we're so focused on the manifestation that we're overlooking that in the middle, God is teaching us patience. So, two definitions of patience that I'm going to give to you, and I'm done. Number one, patience is the ability to survive the season of not yet. Have they improved in this? Not.
So I like what he said here, what patience is. Patience is enduring in seasons. And I've said this on the podcast, right? Relationships go through seasons. They do, right? They're not perfect, right? So while you're going through the seasons, and I'm going to give something so amazing here, what are you willing to do to prepare for the seasons? So let's say, for example, in your relationship, right, things have become stagnant. We'll call winter being stagnant. Are you putting on your winter boots? Are you putting on your winter gloves? Are you putting on the equipment of patience? Or are you just sitting here complaining how cold it is? You know what I mean? And that's what it really comes down to. I would say patience comes with preparedness. If we were to lock the two together, patience comes with preparedness. So you have to be prepared, or God prepares you for patience. Because a lot of people will pray for patience, but God will put you in situations where you can practice patience. Ooh, that was a good one. Yeah, see, exactly. And I'll say it again. God will put you in situations for patience. That's what he will do. He says, you want patience? Okay, I'm going to put you in a situation to be patient. You have the opportunity to practice it now. Because by doing that, it conditions your heart. It conditions your spirit to be more gentle, spiritedness, and dealing with people in patient ways. So again, he's dropping some gems here.
Not yet. Have they started washing their dishes? Not yet. Have they done this? Not yet, not yet, not yet. Patience is the ability to survive the season of not yet. And number two, patience is the acceptance that things happen in a different way than what I had in mind. I'm accepting that there's traffic. This is not what I had in mind, but I'm accepting it. I'm accepting that there is a long line. This is not what
Okay, we're going to break this down. Patience is acceptance. And that is so true. Because when you think about it, when you're dealing with someone else, like the opposite sex, you cannot control them. Right? So there's going to be times when, they might say something rude. They might do something you might not agree with. There's going to be some things, some tension. And you have to ask yourself, okay, in this moment, how am I going to behave? God is testing my patience right now. And he's testing me right now for acceptance. Right? And that's one of the biggest things, because I know for myself, when people don't do what I say, it irks me. I get very angry. Right? But I love what he said is acceptance is you can't control certain things. Right? You can only control what you do. You're only responsible for what you do. So like whatever somebody does, especially in the relationship context, you can't take it as it affects you. You have to take it as they did this thing, let's address it. Acceptance, right? Whatever it is they did, like accept it. And you can be frustrated. But the thing is, as I said, God's always going to give you situations to be patient every single time. So I think it is important skill is acceptance. Sometimes accepting that, you know, like let's say your girl has a different opinion on something. You have to learn to accept that. You know what I mean? You guys disagree on some things. You have to learn to accept it. And I think your life can be a lot more peaceful when you do that. And that's something that I know I'm working on, is accepting that I cannot change or alter or fix everything. I can't. I'm not God. I can just only accept certain things within my vicinity. I can't, like, whatever other people do, like, that's their business, right? But it's just like, why are you getting frustrated that there's a long lineup? Why are you getting frustrated when your girl is kind of like acting a certain way or your man's acting a certain way? It's try to get understanding. Acceptance and understanding will take you a very, very long way. So let's let him finish and then we'll wrap it up.
I had in mind, but I'm perhaps patience is when I don't get my way. I'm not accepting the fact that this isn't going the way that I wanted.
WordPress made easy as
So let's wrap this up. We also have to understand that you're not always going to get your way in a relationship. You're not. It's not about getting your way. It's about continuously always getting on the same page. Because if you have an attitude of it's my way or the highway, trust me, you guys are always going to be like two bulls in a china shop. It's never going to be peaceful for either party. So I think a lot of times you also have to check your ego at the door, which these are all things that we've heard, but practicing it and saying, well, what does that look like is the most important thing, right? Is what does it look like? When we talk about checking your ego at the door, it's okay, when we fight, do I manage my emotions? Do I hold myself accountable? Is this an opportunity that God is using right now for me to build my patience muscle? Is this a situation that God is using for me to learn to build acceptance in this moment? And that's the one thing that like opened my eyes, because I used to say, well, God, give me this, God, give me this, God, give me this. And he says, I've already given all this to you. I've given you so many situations to build that muscle, and you've never built it. You've just always asked me for more, when I've given you opportunities to build it. So that was something for me where it's like, you know what? You're absolutely right, because some people don't work well together. And I'm going to end the podcast on this. They don't, right? Because they haven't worked on their patient muscle and you have. So I say the skill of patience is very important, but if you're going to deal with someone of the romantic gender, or the opposite gender, you want to make sure that they're constantly working on it through reading the Bible, prayer, fasting, all those things, that they're constantly building up those muscles to require patience, because we all have ego. Let's not sit here and lie. No one's going to be like, I'm not. We all do. It's just how out of check is it? Right? That's what it's really going to come down to. Can you check your ego when it needs to be put in place for certain conversations in certain situations? I get it. We all want to be heard. We all want to be listened to. We all want to be kind of like the dominating force. But when you're dealing with other people, especially in a romantic context, there's no space for dominance. There's only space for understanding and change and acceptance, and say, okay, how can we do this better? How can we work in this parameters? How can we do X, Y, Z better? And I think that is the most important skill. And we're all working on it, I hope. I know I am daily, every single time, to let things go. Because sometimes it's not our burden to carry the extra baggage when God's already paid the price. Right? He's like, I've already paid the price. Why are you still trying to handle the extra baggage? That's why in the Bible it says, cast your cares upon me. You know what I mean? Because it's not your job to carry the extra baggage that he's already dealt with. He's pretty much telling you, if we're to look at it from an analogy point of view, walk through the airport, jump on the plane. You're sitting there, well, no, God, I have to go and get my luggage. I have to go and do this. He's like, no, it's already done. In the Bible, it says it's finished. It's already done. It's time for you to get on the plane and go and sit down and let the plane take off. But in your mind, you're like, well, no, I have to get my luggage. I have to grab this and this. And he's like, no, it's already done. Can you stop and listen and get on the plane? And that's something that like I've had to learn myself is calm my mind down, give it to God, and just get on the plane. Just listen. And you know what I mean? Sometimes it's really hard. But as I said, it's an exercise muscle that needs to be exercised daily. So with that being said, I greatly appreciate it. I will see you guys on Wednesday. Thank you very much for tuning into the live stream. You guys can watch the clips after, the shorts, all that other stuff. As I said, I'm very grateful. You guys only have me from now on, but the show is not stopping because of the support, love, understanding, all the stuff that you guys have done, the commenting, the liking. To me, being able to talk to you guys, even if it's one person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, whatever, being able to just talk to you guys and add some level of inherent value to your life, that makes my day more than anything. So, as I said, help this podcast get to 1,000 subscribers. As I've always said, we're not looking to be the tool. We're looking to be one of the many tools that you can use, because there's many different podcasts out there offering many different advice. You take what you need and you use the tools that you need for the job, right? So let's say you're in a relationship. You might use our channel as a tool to say, okay, they said this is how you deal with this, this, and this. Or you might be listening to another podcast and they say, deal with it, this, this, and this. So it's all going to come down to what tool do you need in the situation. And as I said, we're not looking to be the tool. We're just here to provide one of them. So with that being said, I will see you guys on Wednesday. Take care of yourselves, and thank you again for your time.